Okay, so I guess we'll call Facilities Committee meeting to order. I'll just go around and announce who's here. Tamara Twardowski.
Mike Wolf.
Casey Blankviller.
Lauren Small.
Kathy Haynes.
Okay, and so I guess I just put this on first so we get out of the way. I saw an email from, I don't remember who, but something about a property line concern in Birdsboro and an issue where we used to clear stuff and now we're not, and neighbors are complaining.
There's two neighbors. Neighbor at the rear of the property along whatever Jefferson Street that goes up there, and then there's a neighbor on the other side. It's on Adams Street. There's a bank there. Harry Amel used to mow that bank. According to my property lines, it's not ours. It's hers. So we mowed it last year, just out of just fine, we'll take care of it. The one on the upper part, there's a bunch of trees around down that line. She always says that the trees are going to fall in her garage. They're hanging over her garage. We have them pruned back that there's about 6 to 8 feet of space between the limbs and the roof of the shed. I can't exactly concrete determine where that line's at, according to the drawings I have. Because on my drawings, if I measure off of the landmarks of storm sewers and what is marked as water valves and stuff like that, if I just take a tape measure, kind of look at my print, measure it, go on the ground and try to measure it, it looks like the property line splits the trees. So it's like the two trees that are side by side, what I look at, it looks like the property line goes right between them. Now, there's some stumps there as well. So when that drawing was made, were they showing all the trees? Were they not showing all the trees? So this has been now probably the better part of a year and a half of this going on with these neighbors. So we've pruned the trees back. There's nothing rubbing her shed. There's nothing even remotely close to her.
Are they healthy? I mean, they're not dead.
No. I mean, they're trees and they hang over her property line. So, I'd mentioned it about getting them surveyed. So, because there again, I don't think we should be clearing spots, that. But like I said, the property line looks like it goes right to the center of Adams Street, and then right at the base of the bank. Right at the base of the bank for the lady with the shrubs. But the one that's a real pain is the one that's up on the top that is constantly like, your trees are going to ruin my property and so on and so forth, and so we've pruned them back. There's nothing rubbing. There's nothing a hazard. So if you guys are that concerned about it, we got to take the trees down because they hang over the property line if they're on our property. And that's a whole row. I mean, it's the whole line there. So it's when you come up Jefferson, the street that goes off to the right past the school, whatever that one is. It's right there where her driveway comes down.
Silverbrook.
Yeah, where her driveway comes down.
Okay.
From her garage.
So it's behind the school.
Yeah.
Trees in Birdsboro.
They're
Yeah.
not friend lives on Silverbrook. So
No,
I
I mean-
was going to say.
So I mean, we have them trimmed back. They're not in the way. I mean, we'd have to get somebody in with a very big truck, take them down carefully. It's not going to be an inexpensive.
Yeah, but people have trees next to each other's property all the time. If they overhang, they overhang.
Right.
I mean,
If they overhang and they break, we could be,
Oh.
Okay.
So.
um,
So so there again. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing. I think it's Bonnie Pachevsky, I think or Pachevsko or something like that. I actually know her father very well, but I keep an eye on the trees, and when they get remotely close, I ask the grounds guys to go up and trim them. And then
But we don't know for sure where the line is.
I cannot concretely define where the line is.
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know legally if. I mean, trees get planted on property lines all the time. I mean, they do it in subdivisions too. I think it's stupid, but I don't know that. it can't hang over. I mean, I would assume if it's her property and she doesn't want that limb hanging over, she can take those
She is
limbs
more than
off.
welcome to cut any limb off that is
Right.
hanging over her property line. And I've explained that to her.
But
She
if
goes,
they're
"It's
not
my
dead,
responsibility."
and they're not, well,
Well, we don't have to trim them.
right. We don't have
I
to
mean,
trim them.
if you trim them to be reasonable, then that's.
Well, I think Casey's saying he's trying to be a good neighbor.
Well, I'm
straight
saying,
off, but
it
there's a
sounds like
limit
he
to how
has
much you
been.
can do.
He
Right.
has been, so I think, to me, it's like, we're done with this.
And I have pictures when they have leaves on them, when they don't have leaves on them. So, I mean, we trim them when there's leaves on them, so we know which limbs are hanging down the closest to the sheds. We're not trimming them in the wintertime.
Right.
We trim them
I mean, if you
past
feel like there's
July,
a tree that's
August.
about to go down, then obviously if it crashes on our property, then we'd be responsible for repairing whatever the
Well,
damage is.
actually, I don't know that that's true either. I believe.
I don't think it's true legally.
Right,
It's-
okay.
Yeah, it's
Like, I
a
think we
gray
could,
area.
we could
Right.
say,
I believe
that's
it's
too
your
bad,
homeowner's insurance.
but I don't know that you
covers
do
it.
that, but I'm just saying, you could.
Right.
Right. So we monitor it, we make sure they're trimmed back. I just feel that getting the property surveyed with the future possibilities of that property as well, to get an official survey, the most recent survey done, so we have accurate drawings. I don't think it's a waste of money at this point in time.
But doesn't the deed, state the property lines, like how many feet?
Yeah, but I mean, you can get a rough calculation. You
That's
may
what I
not
mean,
know
if it says
exactly,
100 feet
right.
from the building, or
Well,
whatever.
see, it won't go up the building because the building wasn't there.
Well, it
It's
might go
gonna
from
go
the
off
curb.
of landmarks, either, and a lot of times in the old days, it was a tree, a rock, a fence post.
Like I said, my
but-
blueprints have property lines drawn. So if I look at those property lines, I personally believe, looking at those property lines, the property line currently goes right between two of the trees that are right next to her garage. And I mean, they are side by side. I can't walk between the trees.
You think the line goes right between them?
Yeah.
So one's on hers and one's on ours.
Correct. But I can't prove that because I can't get an accurate.
I don't know that I'll be honest, I'm not being smart. I don't think we have to. I mean, I think we can take a stand, and if she wants to prove otherwise and get it surveyed, then that's on her. But if we feel from looking at it that, you know, that one's on hers and this one's on ours, and
How long has she
proved
lived
it,
there?
and-
For a while, but the garage was put in after the trees.
I wonder
trees
if the
were there
garage.
long before
So I
the-
wonder if the garage meets the setback for the
Well,
ordinance. I mean, I'd be interested, maybe I'll.
The shed, right? The shed is the
That's a
garage.
deep, deep rabbit hole. I know there's a lot of properties that probably
Yeah.
wouldn't meet that. So
I understand.
selective enforcement on that one.
I understand, but,
and when I measured it, it appears that her driveway is on, the very corner of it is almost on our property, or if not on our property.
when,
Because like I said, I'm going off of what's on my blueprints are actually the valve curb, the valve cleanout plates.
okay.
So I've
Measured
can
all
look
that,
those and
yeah.
literally measured on the print, okay, it should be 8 feet from the curb. Okay, that's this one. And then I've measured the manhole, to catch basins that are on the drawings. Now, are those the correct catch basins? Were those catch basins moved? Because those don't quite pan out. But then I go off the telephone poles that are there. I spent about 2 hours there the one day measuring, and I'm like, every time I looked, I'm like, that line looks like it goes right there, right through those trees. And on the drawing, it shows through the trees, right
Right through
between
the
the
trees.
trees. So,
Well, there you have it.
Maybe it doesn't hurt if we send her a letter that just says, you know, we've maintained them, we've pruned them back, you know, we're not taking them now, if you,
Have Mr. Seaver send her a letter.
or maybe we just
Then you
ignore
turn a
it.
$1,400 survey
Into it,
possibly
right.
into a
I
$3,000
wouldn't
survey.
pay for a survey because the woman doesn't like her trees. I mean,
I said
I'd let
she's-
her, I'd put the ball in her court, let her do what she wants to do. Like you're doing you're trimming them and all this other stuff, like that's more than anyone else is gonna do.
And has she complained about them for 30 years, or is this recent?
from what I understand,
That's
she's
why I asked
complained
how long
about
she
them for a
lived there.
while.
Okay.
So she just doesn't like them there.
She doesn't want them hanging over her shed.
Well, she can feel
She
free
probably
to have
doesn't
them
like
taken
raking the
down.
leaves every winter, is probably, that's the other thing, you know, which I get.
Heck, I told my neighbor.
I don't have a
I'd
single
pay to
tree in
prune a
my
tree
yard,
not
and
to cut it
somehow
down.
I always have
I
leaves
know.
in my yard, so, and I don't have one tree, but somehow I have leaves.
I have.
I'm right there with you.
My neighbor has massive, like 3 or 4 massive, like 40 feet high, big maple trees, and they just dump leaves on my
And
yard.
they blow, right, and they, the wind.
Just dump, and I don't have any. What am I going to say? I mean, like it's
My
just my
neighbor's
problem.
sun sets behind it after 3 o'clock. I said, I will clean up every leaf on your property. Just please don't cut that tree down.
Yeah, right.
Do you, and then the one on the bank? I mean,
I mean,
we
I'll
feel we're
take-
cleaning our property.
I can't believe it.
There again, if you go up Adams Street to our parking lot, on the left-hand side, there's a gully of our property line. And in always years past, they've always put the gullies on the property lines.
Right.
And then there's a bank that goes up to her row of arborvitaes. And she says that the grass and the weeds on that bank are killing her trees. And I don't think it's our bank.
Does she have
According
a
to my
letter?
drawing,
Does
it's
she
not our
have a-
bank.
Does she have a letter from an arborist that,
I just,
I'm guessing,
this is what I've been,
and I'm guessing years ago, they did stuff.
Harry did it
to
because he
make-
was there all the time. He had the
and-
time.
And to make people, just to be nice neighbors, but, I mean, we shouldn't be spending taxpayer dollars to mow something that's not ours. If
Right.
it's not ours, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but.
I will take
I
the
agree.
drawings up again and I will verify. I will try
You
to
could
find
send
the
her-
marks and I will
Couldn't we send her a copy
paint some
and just
lines
say,
in the
here's the
grass.
line?
And I'll paint some lines and say, hey, here's what I have on my drawings. This is where the property
Shoot
line
me a
is.
text when you're going out. If you're around.
Okay.
I'll meet you out there.
Okay.
Can I schmooze her over?
No, I'll just, well, then you had 2 people that read blueprint, that measured it. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I mean, I don't want Casey to be the only one hanging out there being like, well, I don't think it is. So, all right, I think, yeah, that's just,
The APC survey, that was just.
That was just because well, the APC survey was brought up because this parcel is 7 parcels that were combined into one deed when that elementary school was built. So if you ever plan on doing anything with this building, you will have to do a subdivision. Because I was told it's all in one parcel now, when they built the
oh,
elementary
this
school.
and the,
And the elementary back.
where, okay.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 parcels that were put together. So there again, depending on what, I talked to them about doing this survey as well, because we didn't know what the status of this facility was.
I'd wait till I mean, because you're gonna have to do a survey for land development anyway, and if
Right.
you're gonna do something with this building, that's what they're gonna end up doing, so.
Right, and the only concern was the neighbor over here, we're just gonna keep the tree line and to screen the lot for the neighbor.
When was that built? It wasn't that long ago, was it? 20
that?
years? The new elementary school. I mean,
13, 14 years?
there's not a decent survey from that? I mean,
I haven't gone through every single set of drawings, but
Doesn't Berks County have records of that?
they would, and we should have signed land development plans, which should have, I mean, we've made people use concrete markers for the last 20 years so that you can't.
it said
Yeah, they are.
there's pins, that there are pins located. I just haven't spent the
Okay.
time to go out
Okay.
there and
Sounds like a good Boy Scout project.
try to find it.
Give them a metal detector or something.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, and that's why they started going to the concrete markers instead of pins, because the pins can get
Pulled out.
pulled out.
Yep.
But, all right, well, we'll push that on hold for now. So, annual service contract?
It's that time of year, to discuss, the annual service contracts, to get them renewed. The 3 I have are, train, is $19,745, and Lauren, I can give you a copy of each one of these or email them to you, whichever you want. If we pay one lump sum payment, they give us $592 discount, so it's $19,152.65. So that is our 1 visit a month 8 hours, I get 8 hours of service a month and then 2 semi-annual 8-hour visits. So I really get 14 8-hour visits, all the upgrades,
Software upgrades?
software upgrades, and we also get 8 hours of instruction to teach.
All right.
So, last year was 18.6, 18.4, something like that it was last year, so.
So you have 14
it's-
8-hour sessions?
It's, yeah,
Do we have any other options?
no.
I mean, we're going to be into.
Tozer Train is out of Harrisburg, but they won't come up here. I mean, Tozer Train's out of Philly. They're not allowed to come up here, so this
They
is
have
Harrisburg
areas.
Train, they have their areas. And then we've,
There's a Tozer train truck right there.
right by,
in-
at the
in-
railroad
in Oxford,
tracks, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've talked to Tozer Train, but they're not allowed, they're
Can we
not
at
allowed to
least
come up
get
here.
a denial that they won't do business with us? I'm just thinking that this is into the bid quote arena here.
That is
Dollars. So I'd like to see an attempt to get 3 quotes.
Okay,
How much is it, 19K?
19,152.65.
Actually, it's into bid territory at 19. I believe I have to look at the guidelines for Act 1.
If we already have a contract with them, we can't renew it without bidding it?
true.
Just because he did it wrong once.
It's a
doesn't-
service contract.
There you go.
All right, I will see if they, I think they're co-stars as
Should have
well,
been here
so
3 years ago.
I heard.
If we can pull it off on CoStars or
I'll
whatever,
find out. I'll find out. So, I just wanted, that
tell
one,
them to expand their discount and get it down below the bid threshold.
So what happens if we made a mistake and did it wrong the second time? Is that bad?
it's only if you get caught.
It's on tape.
What happens though? Like, what's the? I'm curious. I just don't understand.
Well,
I'm joking. I'm not suggesting we do that.
Kathy goes to jail. When Lauren retires at the end of the
She goes to jail. But what really does happen? We get fined or something?
You can.
you can, and if you used any like state, and we probably don't use state money, but like if you used any type of state funding or federal funding, you might have to pay it back.
Right.
Board vice president's first line of defense.
plausible deniability doesn't
Sounds
work.
like a good time for me to move to secretary.
Treasurer, you want to sign checks?
Secure Home, who does our alarm monitoring, they're again, it's a 1-year contract with them. It's $380 per location for 6 locations.
And that's fire alarm?
That's fire alarm, yeah.
380.
So that just has somebody answering the phone at a facility calling the
Per
fire
building?
department.
That's not bad
It's
though.
380 annual
Annual
times 5.
times 6,
But we have one here.
2300.
yeah.
I don't think that's that. I don't know. We feel like
They just
that
actually
bucks a year. I think.
Windstream
for
finally
one.
fixed the second line. Phone line has been out for 5 months.
There's a unit in the ceiling of my office that's gonna get the wires trimmed out. So
All right, and then you have one more.
And then Pletcher Fire Protection does our annual inspections.
Oh, it's separate. Okay.
Yeah.
Fletcher?
Pletcher Fire, Pletcher, Fire Protection. So it's $7,200 for fire alarm inspection and testing. That's semi-annual. So they come in during the summer, usually July, and then over Christmas.
So it's 7,200
Each
times
time,
2?
or-
No, that's
total?
for the year.
Okay.
That's for the year.
Do they recertify all the extinguishers too?
The extinguishers are
That's
$3.50 per piece.
the number of pieces is,
I think we were right around 180 last year, something like that it
So what are
was. I
they
have to
checking?
check.
They're checking to see.
The operational of all the
Sprinklers.
heads.
Yeah,
all
so
the
they
smoke-
go
all the
around and they
strobe
blow
lights.
stuff in it, and then they
Yeah,
test it. And
they actually blow in fake smoke to make sure the alarm goes off.
and if the gauge is still good on the fire extinguisher, they put on a fresh tag.
I just say I don't. That goes
And then
so
it's
fast.
also
I don't know if they really
the-
check anything.
Sprinkler testing and inspection is $2,400 for the year.
That's not included in the 72?
No.
Same
And the
company?
sprinkler, yeah, same guy. So the sprinkler is, the sprinkler testing is exactly that. Does a walkthrough of
Oh, so
all the heads, the
The sprinkler
pumps.
test is the 2,400.
Yeah, that's all the heads, that's the pumps, the whole 9 yards.
So what does the 7200 do?
Is all the smoke detectors,
Oh, smoke detectors.
strobe lights, audible alarms, the whole 9 yards.
Is there a central fire panel too?
Yep.
What's all?
Yep. Everything we have is simplex, for the most part. If we had simplex here, we would be looking about almost triple of that.
I won't doubt it, because we,
If you're working on the clocks, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, $275 for first hour, I think it is for the clock call. So,
Another business I should have got into.
and what about the elevators? Is that not up yet? Because don't we have to do
I'll be having that for next month. They just didn't get it to me yet. So we have elevators yet, which are quarterly. Pest control for our IPM, that's JC Airlux. That was around 10,000 last year, so it'll be right around that number again this year. And then,
You went into all the wrong businesses.
Should have paid more attention when I was in school.
yeah, I think that's everything.
Okay.
So,
Well, anybody got thoughts on any of those, or, I mean, just, we
Man.
have to do it.
we're required by law
Right, no, yeah,
to
that's what I
do,
mean, we
to do
have
all
to do
these,
it.
so.
And these, some of these we switched, right, since you've been here, because you
Correct.
got cheaper rates, or you found less
Yep.
expensive contracts, so.
Any elevator inspections are also actually being done now.
Yeah,
But we're still being billed by the former vendor.
we're still being billed by the former vendor, correct?
Really?
So.
Yeah, they have an auto bill that comes out, and we settled it with our attorney last year. So the contract wasn't valid, done deal, and they keep sending us the bills. I just staple the bill to the letter from the attorney and put it back on file.
Well, you wonder how many people just pay, you know, how many people pay it, if they get,
But nobody ever shows up.
Well, every time I get the bill, I say, hey, Casey, anybody seen these guys?
So they're just, they're not even coming, they're not even trying to
No.
do the service.
Well,
That's
they
awesome.
weren't before, and then when
Yeah, so I'll have Ray and Elevator for the elevator inspections. I'll have JC Ehrlich for the pest control. I think that's all I'm missing yet.
okay.
So
Clocks are all good.
I believe the clocks, another $3,000 worth of clocks showed up at Monocacy, so I need them for other buildings as well, but I got them all to Monocacy, so. And then what we're gonna do is Ron is gonna test each one of the clocks that we took down in his office.
To see
Once
if-
we find the short and find out which one of those clocks are bad or not.
And
So
then we
we'll
keep
do
the
one at
others
a
as
time.
spares?
Yeah, we'll keep the other ones as spares. So,
But they've all been replaced, or,
yeah. So the first, and just to kind of explain to you what happened there, the first technician came, said we had a short, didn't check for the short. Just said, well, there's a short. Told the guys what to do, they went out and did it. When we did what we were told to do, it didn't work. The second technician came out in 15 minutes, found the short, disconnected the wires, and everything worked. So right now, like the cafeteria,
So we get reimbursed for the first visit?
not hardly, not from Simplex, unfortunately. So that's why I don't call them. That's why I try not to call them, because it depends on who you get. They're just too big and depends on who you get. So, right now, like some of the cafeteria, like the dock area and stuff in the back just doesn't have clocks that work, which is no big deal at this point. So, we'll get to that.
okay.
All right, JRTC obstacle course is pretty much built, installed. They're having a dedication. I forget the day. Mr. Helzer sent me an email. I think it's the 17th or 18th. I'll check my phone if you guys want to know the exact date. Went pretty well. I was up there with him about 2-3 hours the one afternoon to help him get kind of the big obstacle up in place. So, just happened to stop up to see what they were doing, and what I saw them doing, I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna get hurt. Let's do it this way. And it was fine. The kids were great. We really had zero issues, other than the one guy got a big splinter in his leg that I had to do a little careful yanking. And he said, just rip the thing out. I went, okay. You know, kind of thing. So,
Rub some dirt in it.
yeah, rub some dirt, it stopped bleeding. So that's that. I'm going to skip a couple here. Summer projects. Gym floors are being done June 12th and 13th, except for the annex, that's being done on the 19th. So all the principals have been notified that they will not have gyms for that week. George Schmidt will be using the annex that week and also possibly here that week if he needs to use a gym. Because this gym doesn't get done because it has that vinyl floor in here. So that one just gets cleaned.
Well,
So-
school's over at that point, right? So what would they need the gyms?
Just if they have activities or teams practicing or whatever, you know, summer practices or whatever. So, or cheerleading groups or, you know, who knows?
I know, I would
Use
just
it.
think you could just say,
We told them, listen, you're not gonna have it.
Right.
These are the two gyms that you have and that way, you know, everybody knows, because they're gonna just come in with a couple crews and just go right around and get them all done, so.
Any additional prep you need us to do, anything?
Just the tape has to come off,
Okay.
which I
Taping black,
emailed Jamie.
taping black marks?
Yep, yeah, just the tape and
Gum.
adhesives and gum and stuff like that, so.
All right.
Hey, does, with the rooms being emptied out in Birdsboro, is there any, like, winterizing type of activity has to happen in the rooms to, since they're gonna be sitting vacant? Like, is there- I
No,
don't-
because,
I mean,
what we'll do is, for winter time, you know, we'll keep the valves open, we'll keep heat going up through it, we'll just turn the fans off just to keep the valves open, so nothing freezes. You know, the light bulbs still have to be in, we'll get all dehumidifiers taken off and stuff like that, make sure all the windows are closed and cleaned and all that kind of stuff, but other than that, you know, once they get back to me with a list of all the rooms that they don't need, then we can kind of start picking away at which ones we're gonna store stuff in, not store stuff in, kind of thing, so. But I'm waiting for those lists yet. So they really haven't, they kind of have gotten through it, but they haven't got me the final, here's who's exactly going to what rooms kind of thing, so. But that's the gym floors. Roof, the high school bathrooms and the high school sidewalks. Just so you know, we're having a pre-construction meeting with the contractors on Thursday with Tremco and SJ Thomas, just to go over the site on who is going to be staged where. We're staging them at the back gym entrance, the back gym parking lot, but the cubby hole area where the dumpsters are. Because the bathroom renovations, they'll come out those stair towers there with all their debris, go in and out there. The porta potties will be staged there. All the roofing supplies will be staged there. They'll be loading the roof from that area, so it works out really well. And they're going to start staging the equipment June 12th. They're going to wait till graduation is over and we're cleaned up, and then they're going to commandeer that area. So, so we're meeting them. I'm meeting them on Thursday. I think it's 1 o'clock on Thursday. So that's Tremco, WTI, and SJ Thomas. Just to kind of go over that area and what has to stay open and what can't stay open, kind of thing. Because we have to still have access for the cafeteria doors and that kind of stuff, so.
is that stuff that, since they're starting June 12th, will that'll get billed into this fiscal year, or,
I'm not sure when they're going to be truly starting.
Just capital projects,
so it doesn't really matter? Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure.
we'll bill it appropriately, but it's all
Okay.
capital, it's not general fund.
Okay.
Two things that aren't on there that I thought of while in my office. Amity Shingle roof repairs, there were 2 repairs where there valleys at the library and wall flashing at the library. Those have been completed, so that roof now is not leaking. And the walkie-talkies will be installed on the 15th and 16th. So we will be installing the walkie-talkie repeaters and everything. So we'll have all them fully functional for graduation. So,
Now, are you moving, talking about walkie-talkies, are you moving that line? For the transportation coordinator, do you have
Yeah,
that in?
yep, these guys have a work order for it.
How long before that's done?
What's that?
The work here for the transportation coordinator,
We're gonna start Friday morning. We're set up for class.
He starts Monday, I just wanted that radio moved down.
Okay.
So he has it in his office.
No problem.
yeah, the wall's ordered, so we're just,
Yeah, we'll just wait for the wall, the girls know that they're moving, so everybody should be good.
okay,
Just kind of make him feel like he's wanted,
yep,
you know?
yep. I gave everybody a packet for the access control, the card access. We discussed it last month. We were asked to get an adder for audible alarms if a door was propped open for too long. So it would only be the doors that have card access. So that additional cost is $13,502. So what I wanted to do is, that's why I gave everybody a copy of the quote, so you can see the entire costs and then all the deducts for various schools or whatevers.
How many doors get the,
30?
think it's 30.
$450 a door, basically.
Yeah. Now, what makes it difficult is some of the doors use a YQ technology, so it's a Wi-Fi technology. So it truly doesn't have, it's not wired back to the controller. So they actually have to do some more work. They have to put a power supply in for the audible alarm, put a relay in. So there's more work for those doors. So most of the doors are very easy, but those doors get a little bit of a pain in the rear. Because you have to get a power source to them and the whole 9 yards. So it's just more man hours than anything, as you can see.
And now that won't, that won't send an email or a text or anything, it'll just be an alarm.
It'll be an alarm.
Audible alarm. So if nobody was here,
Right,
all right.
right. Because once you start getting into the text and the emails, then you start talking a whole lot of time for a guy to sit at a computer and do write the programs for that to happen. And
Right.
so that's the card access for the school
do
district.
they give you a breakdown of the hours? Like a detailed, is this what you get?
No.
This is
Like
what
you don't know
get.
how many hours this
No.
is, or,
No, but I mean, if you look,
just curious.
I think they're hourly. Most of your card access companies, the hourly rate's about $1.30, $1.25 to $1.40. So if you start taking the labor and divide it by $140, it's going to get you darn close to where. So like the labor, I would say the labor, you're probably looking 250 hours to 280 hours for the card access install.
Did they give you a time frame of how long it would take to do?
Well, there again, we were hoping to get it done in the summer while school's out. At least get all the wires pulled and get all of that done prior to school being back in session. And then they can work on it while the kids are here if we would have to, but we're hoping not to. So that's kind of why I was trying to get this done, and if everybody was,
Now, what, like the network switches, it's supplied by us. Is there additional cost that Scott Matt?
nope, he has all them.
He has all,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
What's the reasoning for the deduct? I mean, I understand that Birdsboro deduct. I was just wondering what the other.
The deduct for Monocacy was just to kind of show you the difference between Monocacy and Birdsboro, that if you didn't want to do the K through 12 right now, I mean the K through 2 right now, with that being just a K through 2 school, if that wasn't a priority. There again, I didn't know. I know it's more of the high school and middle school with the amount of traffic we have, but I just,
Okay.
I just had them kind of show you what the schools kind of cost based on design. The side door, door 24 at the middle school is, there's a door in the back, behind the CAF that is used by the courier, used for deliveries and stuff like that. Right now, it doesn't have card access in it. It's not a priority. It's kind of a wish list item, so we can definitely take that off. It's not going to impact anybody or anything if we take that off of there. The inside vestibule door at Amity, exactly that. If we don't want to do card access on that door, we just have to go through the office to enter the school. And then the same thing with Monocacy.
So maybe you're saving
There's
roughly
the
$6,000,
$7,000 if we don't do those. There again, me personally, I would have those done, just for ease of entrance for staff and everybody else. But there again, currently, the teachers come into the office and sign a logbook when they arrive. So do we want to give them card access ability to bypass? It's just something that currently doesn't have, so I was trying not to add too many things, and the things I kind of added that I would do, I at least wanted to give you guys the option to say, no, we don't think that's worthwhile at this point. So,
in the overall cost, I don't,
It's minimal.
yeah, it's minimal.
so you're looking,
Well,
everything.
Half of it is the elementary school.
Correct.
So I mean, you could do middle school, high school 1 year and elementary the next to break it up. I mean, roughly. It seems like
Sometimes
all
it-
we talk about is the high school mostly with this stuff.
Yeah, there might be volume discounts that they're getting because of the number.
Well, I'm
of-
saying roughly. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they definitely said if you know,
You could sign a
it's-
contract, they might honor them if you say, hey, look, we don't have the money right now. We'll sign the contract and do half this
This
year,
year and
half
half
the
next.
next. So at least they know they're guaranteed the business or we're gonna pay them.
Thing is, if you're gonna look at it from a security standpoint,
Right.
you know, if you're gonna do it, do it. You know, if it makes sense to do it, just go ahead and do it. That's just me, you know. do
I'm
it all
with you,
at one time.
I'm just thinking dollar wise.
I know, just to amortize it over 2 years instead of one. It's just our luck, we pick 3 schools and something would happen in the 4th,
Yeah.
you know? And then you
Well,
say,
but
wow,
I
you
mean,
just.
you can't look at it that way. I mean, they haven't had it for,
I know.
you know, ever, so,
Since when do rational people come to our meetings sometime?
well, that's not gonna change. You're gonna get people pissed that you did the schools, period. Some people are gonna say, why the hell do you need card access? You have keys, what's wrong with that? And you can't win.
That is true. Well, we've been talking about this for a year. I mean, I kind of feel that security is, one of our concerns. So to me, it makes sense to do it. And if we're going to do it, it's not going to get cheaper. I mean, it's only going to get more
I'm not
expensive.
suggesting we do
No,
it that way.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that could be an option.
So I guess the question is, do we want to
I'd say recommend.
recommend to the board that we
I
move
would
forward with this?
let the board vote on it.
Okay.
But then, I guess the question is, that's probably not in the budget, or is that part of the $500,000?
That'd be in the
capital
capital.
spending?
This is in capital, and this is,
I thought we already spent
KPN.
that.
It's CoStars or KPN. I think it's CoStars.
so get me
Yeah, I'll
The
get them
board-
your numbers.
the board gives green light, give me
Right.
this stuff.
Now, is this on your priority list?
This is on the the
So it's
5-year.
It's on the plan?
Yep.
Okay.
And I apologize, where
And
did we leave
Berkshire
off with
said-
the cameras?
Well, that's where I was gonna go next.
Okay, all right.
Berkshire Systems proposal for the card access, just so you know, is $170,000.
Right, I remember that.
So, they were not gonna reuse the best system that we're reusing with I2. So,
And you
that's
don't
where
mean the
savings
best
is.
as in it is the best, that's the name of the system,
Best
right?
security,
Okay.
it's Linnell.
Okay,
It's Best Linnell. So, Best is who's the manufacturer for all of our door locks and so on and so forth. Cameras, working on it,
Okay.
doing a survey.
oh, that's right, we
Because I
decided we were gonna make sure we
yeah.
knew where if we needed to
Yeah.
add more in, we did them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you guys are gonna do maps with the
Yep.
coverage and all that
Yeah.
business?
Yep.
I would think that could take a little while. Yeah.
It does. It does. Speaking of keys, high school rekey. You guys had approved a $45,000 cost to rekey the remainder of the high school. Now,
That was all the whole locks?
the
and
remaining
everything?
locks of the rest of the building. The good news is, to replace all the cores, I'm probably gonna be around $20,000. All right, so there were a lot less locks in that building than I thought there were. There was 270 total locks, and then it's another 70 cores for the inside of the door. It's about 400 total cores. They're gonna be anywhere between $35 and $50 a piece, so that's why I said you can figure 20 grand. Part of that project, as I was walking through the building, there are a lot of panic bars that do not have the ability to key from the inside. So if you unlock the door, let's say auditoriums, LGIs, that kind of stuff, the auditorium doors have it. So if you unlock the hallway door from the hallway side, so everybody can come in and out, there is a key cylinder in that panic bar on the inside that you can lock. So in times of a lockdown and security issues, you can lock those. There are other doors that do not have that ability, have modern hardware, but does not have the cylinder dogging, the cylinder to lock it from the inside. That's a retrofit kit. So there's going to be additional, it's about $7,000 for all of those to retrofit those panic bars. The problem comes in the total doors. You always hear me talk about total doors. That's the manufacturer of the door from 20 years ago when the school was built. Those are the ones that are failing when the hardware fails inside. We end up having to replace the door because of the way they're designed. Those doors do not have the ability to lock the door from the inside. It wasn't a need 20 years ago when that school was built. So our gymnasium, upper and lower entrances of the gymnasium, some of our, like the weight room, the wrestling room and stuff like that, that have total doors for the hallway doors, do not have that ability at this point in time. So my suggestion is to replace at least one of those doors with a modern set of doors and hardware, leave the other doors in place, and then have the staff keep those doors locked at all times. The reason I'm saying that is, it's 12, 16, it's 18. It's 9 pair right now, and you're looking about $6,000 per pair, because I need to put new doors in, new hinges, new closures, new panics, new everything, because I can't reuse. The total doors do not have a door closure like these. There's a rod inside the hinge that's pre-tensiled, and you actually twist it when you replace it. So that actually acts as your door closure. So that's why the doors are so expensive to replace the pairs. And then there's 6 single doors to replace in the LGIs that still have the total doors. And you're looking at about $3,000 for each one of those. $2,000 to $3,000 for each one, depending on size of the door.
It's like 70,000.
It's not cheap. So the LGIs we would need to do, A3 we would need to do, and I would say the wrestling room with the one door, the one pair, and then if we do the upper and lower entrance to the gym, it's only 2 more pair. So I believe I can probably get, if we do it that way and we force the staff to keep the doors locked, I can probably get it under the $45,000. I just haven't run all the numbers because I had the hardware guy in Tuesday. When I realized on Saturday the situation we had, I panicked and said, I need you here ASAP. So, because I at least want to get you guys some numbers so you understand where we're at. But that's, I walked every room, every door, every lock. It took me about 4 hours on a Saturday when nobody was here, just to go through and do everything. And right there's my cheat sheets. So, so it was, I mean, it's 3 spreadsheets worth of those.
I'm assuming they don't keep those doors locked now.
No, not during the day. So, like I said, its doors are gonna have to be replaced at some point in time because they're just getting beat up and banged up and they're starting to fail. But to just wholesale replace them all now, I don't think makes a lot of sense. They can use one, they can leave. They're all.
Right, they can get out
They
of
can all get
everything,
out.
just
It's
can't
not a
get in.
problem. That's not the problem. It's the ability to thoroughly secure this space in times of a true lockdown emergency. And there again, I was not aware there were that many until I physically walked it. Because even AG Mar was like, Casey, do you realize how much this is gonna cost? I said, I understand that. So I said, I wanted you here. So I needed to know what we can and can't do, kind of thing.
So you have about 25,000 left over from the locks, and that's gonna cover.
I'm hoping that'll
4
cover
sets of
the
doors or
necessary
whatever.
doors that we have to change. So, you know, if you guys are okay with it, if I can keep it under the 45, do you want me to go ahead with the doors and the necessities for the lockdown purposes and get that rolling to have done this summer? Or do you want to look at doing a full?
Well, have you briefed Preston on it? I mean, what's his take on it?
No, I haven't, and that's,
He may
I know
have
his
different
concern,
priorities.
I know his concern is the LGI rooms. You know,
Right, 'cause there's
he
gonna be
made
students in
it
there,
clear,
it's like-
when we were talking about it in our admin meeting, he said some of the gym doors they can't lock down, and I'm not sure he realized there were as many doors that they couldn't do. The good thing is, it's modern hardware, it's a matter of, the doors that were replaced 10 years ago or whatever, when they did a door project up there, those panic bars, it's a matter of just taking the carrier off and putting a new carrier on that has the keyed cylinder in it. It's $200 or $300 or $400 for the hardware, then an hour or 2 for the guy to do it. So, but like I
Now,
said,
is that's stuff that AG Morrow would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So,
Well, when we approved 45,000, I mean, the board approved that for
the rekey.
the rekey?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't, if for me, I'm not speaking for the rest of the committee, if Preston thinks that that's important, replacing the doors, to me, it doesn't matter. It's still having to do with the locks and the doors and the safety of it, but I don't know what you guys think, if you want to take it back
Well,
to
that's
the
why I
board.
wanted to talk to
or-
you guys first.
Well,
So.
certainly the LGI, because there's a lot of, they
Right.
have study halls and things in there, so something would
And
happen like
A3
a couple weeks ago.
A3's a classroom, so that would be a pair of doors, so that, you know, you have 6 doors of the LGI, so you're looking about 15 grand for those, and then you're looking about 20, another 5 or 6 for A3. And as he said too, he goes, once we know exactly what you're doing, he goes, we're gonna sharpen our pencil. We're gonna have Best sharpen their pencil too, because, you know, we're doing a lot of business at this point in time, with them.
And these,
So,
oh, that's true too, are they co-stars?
yeah,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, so, I wanted to bring it to you guys first.
I mean, what's the normal process if you have a surplus on a pre-approved
It just
spend?
goes back to the
Just goes back.
capital project fund, where it came from, until it's reallocated into something else, or whatever it is.
So we'd have to put it to the vote anyway.
Yeah, I would think,
Yeah.
because we authorized 45, it's gonna cost 20.
And I can gladly get concrete numbers for next
Why don't,
meeting, but my concern is getting everything
why don't
ordered
you
in
do
here,
this?
so.
Why don't you, I mean, I can bring it up as, do we do reports tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, so I can bring it up under the report and say that, you know, we originally approved 45, doesn't look like it'll cost that for all the rekeying, but there are some doors that need replaced. And why don't you talk to Preston and see which ones you, and do you think you could get a number for the voting meeting?
Absolutely.
Because
He was, my
by bringing
vendor
up
was here,
tonight,
so
can we
it's just a
vote on
matter
it,
of
you know,
me
can we vote on it
saying
at the end of the
okay.
month? And then you can try to get that done over the summer.
Right,
You'd know in, what, 2 weeks?
right. That's fine.
Yeah, it just
I'll
wouldn't
probably
appear
have
on the, it just wouldn't appear on the cal. It would go right into the voting meeting, which we don't normally like to do, but.
Be a recommendation
Other than I'm bringing it up
as a
now.
result of a
Yeah,
committee report.
sure, sure.
Well, I mean, we could discuss it tonight and get people's thoughts on it. I mean, worst case, people say no.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And then, GSA update.
I spelled that wrong.
What's that?
I have a typo. I didn't spell update right. I missed the
Didn't even
A.
notice, didn't even notice. Jamie's been here about a week and a half, on site. So, you know, I will bring up something that happened on Friday via email, and then you're here, so we're gonna discuss it. Received an email from Shelley Mikowski, that, the windows were open in his office, the door was propped, so I emailed Jamie and said, hey, you know, windows are open, door was propped, you know, we can't have that because it's the special ed office. Said, no problem, I'll take care of that. Next night, saw it again, so I emailed Jamie again. So I just said, for now, don't open the window. All you're doing is letting bugs in and wasting energy. Your office unit was pumping out hot air and the fan was on high and windows were wide open. Another issue was, work orders. So I just said in the past I would assign the work orders to the staff so I knew what was all being requested by the staff, and this practice needs to stay in place. I have no problems assigning the work orders, or I can assign them to Jamie and he can reassign them. Let me know which way you want them assigned. So another email I sent to him was, and to George, and to Billy Pitt, just said, over the last few weeks it's become a common occurrence that when I arrive at a building, I find the GCA staff standing around on their personal phones or just sitting at tables after their shift starts. It seems the shift times are not set with the student times. I have seen many staff call in to punch in and then sit down at the table or even sit at their car waiting for students to leave. I see the ground staff standing around and are working when they are told and are only working when they are told. I'm very concerned about the quality of work being performed on a daily basis. I have checked bathrooms and other areas that have the same debris or dirt in the same areas for weeks at a time. Since GCA is a contract with the school district and you are technically working for me, I'll be monitoring the staff on regular occasions, and if these practices continue, I will require you to make staff changes. I do not allow any contract to be paid for staff standing around and or leaving work incomplete. You have been told about this numerous times and it has not improved, it has only gotten progressively worse. The response I received was, quote unquote, here we go. Thank you for your concerns, and I will be looking into schedules and what the difference is in shift times. I understand your frustration, and I hope it does not get out of control again as before. I have received numerous complaints about you from GCA staff about things including prejudice remarks. I have no idea where that's coming from. We at GCA are a very diverse company and enjoy employees from all backgrounds. The employees at GCA do not enjoy being yelled at or hung up with or without cause. We are working hard to make Daniel Boone buildings and grounds clean, safe, and operational at times, and there are many great employees in place working each day. I am more than willing to work with you on any issue, but find it difficult when there are complaints about my office windows being open during working hours, the work orders being reassigned or closed, or other random non-work related issues. My goals at Daniel Boone is to work to save the school district money while maintaining the facilities, staff, and grounds. I hope we can move past this type of behavior and work together towards a common goal. Thank you for understanding this matter. First off, prejudice marks, I have no idea where it's coming from. Secondly, don't know who I yelled at, with or without cause, or hung up on them. The fact that I mentioned the windows being open, it's a pet peeve of mine, and I go around to every classroom when I see it, because all it does is let bugs in and waste money. When I read this Friday night, I was blindsided by it. For somebody to be here a week and to answer me in this manner, I'm not real happy. I'm going to tell you that. I had nothing good to respond to this. So I didn't. And I wanted to make my facilities committee very aware of this. I don't appreciate this. I have been nothing but respectful to your staff from the day you guys got here. I have worked very hard with GCA numerous times to try to make this work. And I'm telling you what, this is just so wrong in so many ways. And I don't appreciate it. I'm not going to sit here and hide behind an email. I was just making people aware of what's going on. So he was aware of what was going on. That's why I copied you on it. Not trying to hide anything, just saying, hey, here's what I continue to see. These are concerns I've brought up to Doug many times. Nothing was done about it. It is my job to make sure that all contractors are doing their job for the school district. That is why Halter's Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong, $8,800 on his last plowing bill? From a $39,000 bill down to $31,000? And I had a guy almost in tears sitting at the table because I wasn't paying him. Almost $9,000. All right? I have every right to talk to your staff members. I don't talk to your staff. I don't. First shift custodians are who I see, and maintenance is who I see in grounds. Second shift I don't talk to, hardly ever, unless I'm in the building. Prejudice remarks. I was the one training your grounds guys today. I showed them how to rebuild a mound. I'm sorry. I just think that is just so wrong in so many ways and so unprofessional. For your staff member to be here 1 week and to write that type of an email.
Well, it's like this. We definitely have just as much of a passion for this as you. And we're never in a situation where we're trying to say, okay, we're trying to dismantle what you do. Jamie Real signed a work order because it was outside. And that's kind of, we're waiting for the chance to say, okay, well, Casey, do you want us to just go ahead and do this? We understand that, we need to work through you as the conduit, and I truly understand that, and don't have a problem with it. That's why when I sent you an email back, I just said, well, how you want to do this is fine. But, Jamie, he wants to do the right thing. And, I see a lot of good things coming from Jamie in what what he's doing. Anytime that you're going to build anything of success, there's going to be some moments where we're going to have some really, really tense moments. You and I kind of have some moments back and forth, but we always reach an agreement. And we never go around saying disparaging things to everybody about each other. It's just me and you back and forth. Okay? So, I want to say, hey, continue to look at what we can bring to the table, because we're bringing some good things to the table. Jamie is the person I believe that can do that. And, I'm going to ask him to be, just pushy about getting employees to do what they need to do. Yeah, everybody wants to have that magical employee that walks in and does everything just perfect, and that's the best things. But there are going to some people who are going to follow human nature. So one of the things he's been doing, he's been going out sitting down with those people in the afternoons, and, that's part of his exchange time, but also just to see exactly what's going on.
And I've posted everything at every time clock to make sure everyone knows when they clock in that it's time to go to work. We try to be ready for work. Breaks are appropriate at the appropriate time, not when you first come in. So I did deal with that. As far as the other issues, I can only say what was told to me. It's not a thing where I'm being malicious or anything like that. It's not like that. I was simply repeating what was told to me. If I have anything like that, I tend to pass it on. I'm not going to try to hide it or anything else. There's no reason for that, but I will pass it on.
Well, I think before you pass along something like that in an email, first thing you need to do is document who made the complaint. They need to swear out what happened. Okay, they need to sign it. Okay, and then it should go whoever should investigate it, find out what the circumstances are. And if it's proven false, that person should be gone.
Okay.
Because that's really damaging. I mean, the staff that was here before thought really highly of Casey. Okay, and we had a mixed bag of ethnicity, so it's not an issue that I know of. But I think before something's thrown out like that, that's, I don't know, I understand his frustration. I would have never handled it that way.
Okay.
You guys need to come up with some kind of rapport.
Okay.
Because you're going to get complaints because, you know, we were on Doug because, you know, we were witnessing people clocking other people in
Mhm.
who were late.
Mhm.
Okay, and those are the kind of things that were mentioned to Doug, and it was just not happening. Now, you know, the only way that's going to get solved is you manage it. But if it's something that we see,
Mhm.
that you guys have to come up with some kind of report, and that's really not really an icebreaker. I would have never done that.
Okay.
I would have seriously had, if I would have launched that to a member of my company, I'd have been sitting in my
Should be in
superintendent's
HR
office.
right now.
You know,
Well,
because to throw out that you're something like that with prejudice, that's
and again, that was what was told to me.
Well, and I mean, Jim's not here, so I can't speak for, but I would assume that the district should have some type of complaint process in place. I mean, most employers have some type of, you swear out a complaint and it gets investigated by probably
Well, GCA
Jim.
is a big
I mean,
company.
right.
I'm sure they
Sure
have
do
something
too, right.
really
So, you know,
Just the other part, just even the prejudice aside, you know, I mean, a simple thing is just closing the work order. I mean, closing the windows. You know, just like, hey, it was open again. I mean, I hammer teachers every day. I mean, it's not just because you're the new guy. It's a major pet peeve of mine. I mean, I walk down the hall with Scott, Matt Scott's like, oh no, Casey sees the window open. And I'll walk around that part of the annex and say, hey, can you close your window?
Jamie
You know?
doesn't know you yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, he doesn't know that you're an equal opportunity,
I'm a
person when it comes to that. You
The
know,
second day, I was actually still here. I was at Monocacy working until about 6:30. So then I went back to the office before I left.
all I'm saying, I think you need, instead of watching things back through email, I think you need to pick.
I mean,
up
if
the phone.
there's somebody accusing me of being prejudiced, all I can say is the only person I can possibly think that said that was Jose, the grounds guy, because him and the other Jose were working together with me on a field, and they kept talking Spanish back and forth to each other. And I said, guys, English, please. Boom, English came out. We got the issue resolved in 2 minutes.
and that's not prejudicial. I mean, if you can't understand if they don't
Because
speak
what happens
English,
is the
you
one guy
can't
talks to the
understand.
other one, he tries to interpret the here, and I'm like, okay, I know you can speak English. I've done that. So that's the only thing I can think of, you know.
It really doesn't matter. I mean,
but I'm just saying, but for me to read that, I'm thinking, no, wait a minute. I'm just trying to let you know what's going on, and that, hey, that you got to do this, you got to do that, you know. The work order was no big deal. It just was like, hey, don't do it anymore. No big deal. I wasn't mad. Just like, hey, just let them come to me, you know, kind of thing. Which, you know, I thought what I wrote was very just, hey, here's what I need you to do, and I get kind of a lamb-based and very
No, see, that's the thing.
personal,
That's
very
what happens
personal email.
when you're launching emails. All that personal context from your conversation and your voice inflection is gone.
Right.
You know, so.
Did you guys, like, I mean, you guys met, I mean, your first week here, did you guys have any kind of a, you know, just a meet and greet and like discussion around how you want to handle things?
Yeah, we're working through some of those things. We still got some things we're working on. Like we met not too long ago on a PM schedule as to how we're going to lay it out and getting Casey's input as to what nuances or what things are priority to him, so we can include that in. So I mean, we meet, but you know, it's a just
Do you want
getting to
him
know
to
each
tell
other.
you when he sees things with your?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but I think he has to because we're holding
course.
his feet to the fire.
I understand it. I know what we want. I'm, saying,
Yeah.
I'm asking the question of Jamie
Right.
because
Okay.
it seems like, again,
And there again,
if the question, if you want to hear that feedback, and he's going to give it to you, and then your response should either be, okay, thanks for sharing it. Like, how am I need to document it. Like, who was it? Like, you know, that sort of thing. Versus, like, you have to realize, he sends you that email, whether you didn't care for it or, you know, whatever, and then your response back is, well, I heard some things about you, like, that just comes across as, I'm not gonna address your concerns, I'm just gonna go back at you and throw, hey, well, you're not perfect either. That's not the point. The point is, you guys are working together, you both have a job to do. We're holding him accountable to the point where.
To document everything.
To document and to basically say, to make sure that your crew is doing what we're paying them to do.
Right.
So if they're not, you can blame us, because we're holding him to that.
And we're talking about two separate issues here. I just happened to join them in one email. The complaints were just a matter of passing them on. That wasn't, like I said, that wasn't anything to do anything.
No, but you would want me to, honestly, like, if someone said, hey, Jamie, called me a name or whatever, or
Right.
said something derogatory to me or something, it could be you said nothing wrong, but I took offense to it.
Right.
Like, you don't want me shooting you an email and not giving you any, like, it's just like, oh, by the way, just so you know, people think you're prejudiced. Like,
Actually, I would.
Well, okay.
I think there's a better way to, I think that,
I think I
that's
would
a
prefer
verbal
that
conversation,
I
think.
walk up to you and just
Right.
say, hey, listen, we got to work together. I don't know what happened, but one of the guys mentioned this.
Okay.
Just be aware of it. Like, it didn't sound like you're making a big deal out of it, but that's a pretty big deal, like, to
Okay.
make a statement like that. I mean,
Right.
that, in this day and age, like,
Yeah.
there's no tolerance for that kind of stuff.
And
Like,
I don't know if you feel the pressure because you're coming in here with what happened with Doug,
No,
but you have a clean slate,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You have a
Okay.
clean slate, okay?
I do.
I mean, you're the record. You're going to make your own record from here on in on the results of your crew.
Right.
So don't feel that we're out to get you, to try to sabotage this. We're the ones who sought GC out and wanted to make this happen. We'll want to make it work
Right.
if we can.
I mean, if we
So-
worked together for a year, we knew each other, then I might shoot you an email.
Right. Well,
Right, like,
now
we
that
have
I
a
understand,
history.
I understand.
We have a history, like, hey, you know that I'm not coming at
Right.
you.
Right.
Because we've worked together, we have a history, we're friends, we have a good working relationship, whatever. But, that's a pretty big
Still,
deal to
the
say
certain
something
things
like
you just
that.
Well, and that's not
Writing,
what
I
I'm
don't
trying to
think.
do.
I know it isn't, but
Right.
you gotta understand, like, it's been 2 weeks, you guys hardly know each other.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably saying stuff, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I've been here a week, and all I get to hear about is windows and this and that, and okay, all right, like, and then, you send back by the way, you're not so great either, there's people saying that you're prejudiced. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, that's immediate,
Oh.
that just takes everything off the wrong direction, and I mean,
Then I'll be happy to go to you if you want to talk about everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the whole thing is a lot of times I don't always have time to send the emails, so it's
Right.
later at night. I'm sitting there, I'll catch up with emails. Hey, here's what I saw. Hey, this, kind of thing. So it was just like I did with Doug. Hey, I'm seeing this. This is going on. I mean, there's.
are you giving him any positive emails? Like, here's some things that went well this week, or because that might help too. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to soften the blow, but honestly, like,
Positive
I'm being
feedback
dead
is
serious.
always appreciated.
Like, hey, listen, like, I taught the guys how to do a mound, and they really took to it, and they did a great job. Or
And all they did was complain about their coworker doesn't teach them anything. So, but yet I had to talk with that coworker on Friday saying he's got to start teaching the guys.
Well-
and so
Well, we had the same.
there's
thing.
definitely the language issue is definitely a problem, and I'm going to tell you that again. It is a problem today. I'll give you a case in point. Mike told them to take orange-handled shovels, scoop the water off the field, and get it off the field. What did they see? They saw orange-handled brooms. Went to the ball fields and broomed the water off the fields, and there went all the dirt with it. So when Mike hold on.
Go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
I said to the guys, I said, who told you to use a broom on this infield? Well, Mike did. It's like, well, Mike knows better than that. Mike was pulling up. I said to Mike, Mike, you guys can't use brooms on the infield. I said, you know that. I told him to use the shovel. I said, what do you mean you told him to use the shovel? So he goes over to the guys. The guy's like, well, he told us to sweep it off. He goes, no, what did I tell you? You said orange handle, and those are the orange handles we saw. So I don't even know if they know the difference between a broom and a shovel. And I'll be honest with you, because they were still a little confused, yet at the end of the afternoon when I was with them for an hour. Yeah, on what, I mean, just simple things like that. I mean, that came up this afternoon, and I stood there and listened to them talk that way. So there's definitely something not clicking between somebody.
Code it a little
You know,
different. The
so
broom
I'm
should
just
be
throwing. I was going to let you know
green.
if I didn't see you tonight. This is going to let him know tomorrow. I was like, hey, you need to, even if you have to label.
Well, that's what I mean.
Something.
Color code
Color
them
code,
differently.
different
Maybe the
colors,
brooms
yeah.
be green
So,
and
and that's just-
shovels be orange. It might make it
But
easier.
that's how quick those guys, and they actually did more damage to the ball field than they did good today. So, just they made the puddles bigger because they swept the dirt out with the water. So now they went from being, a little deep now to a little deeper. So, but just I'm just I mean, it's just. And you've heard this before. I still hear complaints from staff that language barrier is still somewhat of a problem at some buildings.
Well, let me just say this. I want us to have the type of relationship that we can talk about anything, whether it's good or bad, and but we're talking about getting something done. And at the end of the day, we've come to an agreement as to get it done so we can move forward. In that, some feelings going to be hurt from time to time. And, when I saw that email and I called him, I said, I probably wouldn't have answered like that. You probably would have been a little just factual and get back. But the other thing I said, well, I appreciate that you have to have a passion about it. But, so, we kind of share the same sentiment in that.
Oh, I do too.
And,
as I told you.
And you have a lot of passion for what you do.
And I
but
told you,
sometimes
nothing will make me happier than having a go-to person that I know everything will be taken care of.
Well, and it's definitely getting there. It's definitely getting there. But without going on about a lot of things, I'm glad we can have this candor, because we need to have this candor, because in order to build a strong relationship, we got to do it. Yeah, we're going to piss each other off some days, but I got to know that you're going to tell me, or he's got to know when you're going to tell him that, hey, that I didn't like that. But sometimes some of those things are a phone call. Huh? I know, but sometimes it's a phone call.
Written word, you can't get context.
But
You
there
can't get
again,
inflection.
I
I
was
call
told
people anytime.
document
I'm not
everything.
saying that with
and
you,
I
but
hate
it's-
document.
yeah.
Trust me, I am so much better. I could just love to call him and say, Jamie, here's what's going on.
Okay.
But there again,
Okay.
I have to document everything. So
You could
You
maybe
could
call first,
have it, and then
after.
document, send a neat follow-up email, we
As per
discussed.
our
I'm
phone
going to send you a
conversation,
positive
blah, blah,
email
blah.
tonight.
Oh,
How
yay.
about that? We'll change that
There we
tonight.
go.
Well, we gotta
I really
wrap
like the
up,
way you
I think
dressed
Lauren
tonight.
has one more thing, but I do want to
like
say,
that?
I do want to say thank you guys for coming, because this is other than
Good
when
stuff.
we strongly requested your presence, this is the first time we've really seen GCA at the facility, so thank you for coming.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And Lauren, you had one other thing you want to do quick here?
Yes, the results of the RFP for architectural services, we received 4 responses. They came in Friday afternoon. I haven't had a chance to really go through them. One was from KCBA, which I believe is the architect. Is it KCB or KCBA?
KCBA is who built the last 3
I've
schools.
met with them, that's why
Yeah.
I knew that. Godshaw, Keene, and O'Rourke from, looks like Ambler. A firm out of Bethlehem, DBA, and Jim Thompson. So I've got to sort through them.
Okay. Who did the stadium? It's not who did the stadium. That KB.
KCBA did the middle school, Amity, and Monocacy.
All right. Because whoever did the stadium.
I don't know.
I don't
Okay.
remember who did.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
I knew this fellow from
Okay.
KCBA.
Well, we PM'd that
met
job.
with me on this,
Yeah.
but-
Oh, did you?
Yeah, no, we did, as in,
What? We were the
Kent
project
Smith
manager.
did.
Oh, right. That's why.
Personally.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't know what. Well, that's.
Anyway, I was glad to get 4 responses. The firm down at the end of the road here that had worked, Casey, said they're too busy to be involved, so they did respond.
I know they're so busy right now. Well, they're always
well, you
busy.
got some, at least you got 4. Yeah, that's good.
So I'll sort through them for you.
Anybody else have
And
any?
then, did you get a
thing that-
chance to look at the light proposals I sent you?
No,
Okay,
I'll
I
do
sent you
that.
those. Okay, all right.
I will.
I think we put that in under maintenance. So it was.
Yeah, but he was gonna let me know which one he wanted me to do or both,
Okay.
depending on where we were at. So I like to get those
Do you guys
ordered.
have staff meetings with your crews?